Hello there and welcome to Miracles, Music, and Pawprints. I'm your host, Sue London, and if you're watching this on video, today I've got my dog Buddy out. Now normally he likes to look at the monitor, but today he wants to lick the makeup off my face. So this is going to be a good show. I want to thank you for joining me today because we've got a story. It's a true story actually based on my own experience of blending a family and what happens to your pet. And I'm going to share exactly what happened to one of our pets. Now, if you're new to the episodes, I want to tell you that each week what I do is I share an inspirational story or a message. I channel a song that relates to the episode. And sometimes if there's time, I'll share a tool or a tip or a technique that you can do going forward on your journey. Now, if you like the show, please make sure you comment and let me know what you like about it. If there's something you want to know, to learn, let me know that as well. You can do all that through my website at askstuelondon.com. Now, if you're new also and you don't know who I am, well, let me tell you. I am Stu London. I am an award-winning top a hospice pet doula and animal communicator and pet healer. And I channel music, and I am a Reiki master and a spiritual teacher. So I've got lots of stuff going on and over 40 years of experience doing this as a business, but I have been doing all of this my whole life, as a child even. I have had 2 near-death experiences in my journey that if you go back to other episodes, you will hear what happened in those experiences that have led me into what I'm doing today. So there's lots that you can learn about me through my website, askstuelondon.com, and hear the previous episodes. Now let's get started. Okay, so today we are talking about a true story about blending families and letting a dog go. Okay, so here we go. 25 years ago, I met my soulmate. We fell in love instantly. It was love at first sight. And we never dreamt, with both of us being massive animal lovers, that we were going to have a problem with our dog. We each had 2 daughters, and we didn't know how that would go. So it was really a whirlwind romance, and we were getting married like a year later kind of thing. So what happened, I had at the time 2 dogs. I had Molly and I had Willie. Willie was a new puppy that we brought into our house in the January. He was 8 weeks old, and he was kind of a replacement dog for our dog Rocky that had passed in December. So for Molly, her job she took on was being the mother to this puppy and showing him the way and making sure he didn't constantly get stuck underneath our porch, where he figured out how to get in there quite a lot. So this is all happening, in our life before Ross entered into our family. All right. So, this is all going on. I've got 2 children. And then Ross and I, he moved in and we're together, and we are thinking, okay, the psychology about, dealing with children and looking at all of this. If you're blending a blended family and you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about, right? It can be a challenge. And we had 4 girls. So what happened this one particular day, Ross had come over with Maddie, and we thought everything would be fine. Maddie was his dog, and Maddie was a Jack Russell. Now, Maddie was a beautiful dog. She had lots of energy. In fact, one day, we looked out in our backyard. We had an above ground pool, and Maddie had been jumping so high that she actually jumped into the pool. And thank goodness my older daughter, who was a lifeguard, discovered this happening and went out and got the dog out of the pool. So Maddie was a fun-loving, unpredictable little ball of energy, okay? And she was very attracted to Ross. She came into Ross's life as a puppy, and her job was basically helping him to go through the challenges of, years earlier he'd gone through divorce and he was, by himself, and that dog was his lifeline, his support, and so much more. Where he went, the dog went, and they were inseparable. So when we got together this one particular day, we decided, well, we would take Molly and Maddie out for a walk. This is before he moved in, because we were trying to help Molly get over that loss, the grief that she was experiencing from losing Rocky. And Molly and Maddie, they were great together. It was wonderful. So we thought, you know what, when we come together, this will be a no-brainer. They'll be great. Well, it didn't go that easily, let me tell you. So Ross moves in. Now we're a happy family. And then one day we're all eating supper. The dogs were all outside. We had this beautiful big backyard with the above ground pool that we constantly kept an eye on Maddie from jumping in. And we heard yelping and we heard barking, and we looked outside, and to our horror, Willie, our little Shih Tzu, who was only like probably about 10 weeks at this point, then he was playing, and Molly had gone to kind of protect him from Maddie. Again, Maddie and Molly are two female dogs, and they were both wanting to mother Willie, but Molly didn't want to have that. All right, so what happened, Maddie got really frustrated with this, and it was confusing for her because she wanted to do this because she had that loving mother instinct as well, and couldn't understand, and was getting frustrated that Molly wouldn't let her be a part of this, get near Willie. So all of a sudden it just hit the roof, and we're all inside sitting around the table eating a meal, and look out, and here war had broke out between Molly and Maddie. And the next thing we know, Ross had to go out, and if you know anything about Jack Russells, they can lock their jaw on whatever they put a clasp on, right? So Ross is out there, and he's grabbing Maddie to let go of Molly's neck. And Molly is like going like this, and there was broken teeth, and there was blood everywhere. It was horrific. And we knew at that point that something had to change. So, we did all this research, and we called different people. I was doing healing, and I kept hearing from Maddie, I can't handle this. Like, too much change. And why is he not with me? I'm supposed to be looking after him. Why can't I go near this puppy? And it was just so really hard and confusing for Maddie. Now, sometimes when we have a pet, the hardest thing that we can do is to let them go. Okay? We know what it's like when we have to make the decision to help them cross over. But how many of you watching this have gone through this experience where you couldn't take your dog with you? Whether you had to move into a new location, maybe you're in a senior's residence and you can't take pets, or maybe you've come together with somebody and maybe your significant other does not like dogs that shed. Okay, there's all kinds of reasons why you can't keep your pet. And that's why I wanted to create this episode, to let you know that pets come into our life for a reason. All right. Now, sometimes we don't understand when we get them what that reason will be. But if you look back, that pet has done something for you, came into your life to help you through something. So like with Ross, Maddie was there to be his companion, to help him through those lonely days. So I'm basically Maddie's replacement, right? So Maddie could not handle all of the constant with children and in a new environment. It was a new house, a bigger house, a big backyard, there's a pool, there's other dogs, there's a puppy she wants to mother, and so much more. So it was, a hard decision, because it got to the point she was getting so stressed that she was actually lunging at all of us except Ross. And then the final day, she did lunge at him. So we knew that she was struggling. So even keeping her in a cage, it wasn't right. It wasn't fair to her. And so we had to sit down as a family and make a decision. And that decision was that we had to find her a new home. And it was the hardest decision that we had ever faced, let me tell you. It was so hard because me personally, I felt if I were in Ross's shoes, I wouldn't want to give up my dog I know he has as much love as I do for animals, and it is really hard to give up your pet when they're healthy. I know it very well, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you may have had this experience too. So please don't be hard on yourself, because when you have to give up your pet for whatever reason, all right, your pet loves you, okay? You are giving up your pet because you love them, and they know it, all right? So what happened in our case was that, we prayed on it. We asked God to send the right people to look after Maddie, give him the love that he was used to. And what ended up happening was he ended up going to a new home where it was out in the country with one man owner, just like Ross, and he had lots of freedom to run around and play. Jack Russells have lots of energy, if you know anything about Jack Russells. So it was the perfect environment for him. And Ross did go and visit Maddie after, and he said he was just so happy. It was hard for Ross to leave him again, but it was great for Maddie. And sometimes I want to say that when we love our pet, we have to love them unconditionally, no matter what. And if they can't cope with changes like blending families, for example, then just know that your love for them will help to make it better. Okay, how am I trying to say this? If when you love a pet, give them that unconditional love back. Do what's right for them. I know it's hard. I know it was probably something that you didn't expect would happen, but you are doing the right thing. And just like what happened with Maddie, it was just such a gift for her to be in this environment where there were no kids around, there were no other animals. Well, there was farm animals around, but it wasn't like she was competing with another dog to be the mother of a puppy, right? That situation. So I want to, at this time, play a song for you that I have channeled that goes with this episode, and it is called Love Sometimes Lets Go. So I'm going to play that now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some more. All right, stay tuned.
We came together with open hearts, 2 lives, 2 histories, pawprints and scars. She was your shadow, your safe place, your home. Before there was us, before we were grown. I try to be patient, you try to be kind, but love doesn't always fall in line. Some hearts feel fear when the world starts to change, and no one is wrong when love feels the strain. We hoped time would soften the edges we saw, but love kept asking something more. 'Cause love isn't holding at all costs, I've learned. Sometimes it bends so no one gets hurt. It listens when something inside says no. And love sometimes lets go, not from failure, not from defeat, but choosing the path that brings someone peace. With aching hearts and truth, we know that love sometimes lets go. She watched every move, every step you take, a loyal heart afraid of change. Not me, not broken, just holding tight to the world that felt safe every night. We saw the signs, the silent pleas, a gentle soul struggling to breathe. And loving her meant listening clear to what she needed, not just our fear. And loving her meant seeing true. What she needed wasn't us too. 'Cause love isn't holding at all costs, I've learned. Sometimes it bends so no one gets hurt. It listens when something There's no goodbye that doesn't ache, no brave choice that doesn't shake, but love can whisper through the pain. You gave enough, you did your best. She didn't lose us, we didn't fail. We follow love when the answer wasn't easy to tell. Another's needs first some days. It trusts the road we cannot know. And love sometimes lets go. Still connected soul to soul. Different homes, but love stays whole. And peace is how we choose to know that love sometimes lets go. And letting her go. Love too.
Welcome back. I have to say that when you think about it, sometimes love means listening, right? And listening deeply. Sometimes we have to make a decision and we have to have courage to see what will truly bring peace, even when it breaks our heart. Your pet has given you so much in your life. And if you're in that position where my husband Ross and I were, I know you're going to make the right decision. And I can tell you that Maddie, she's on the other side now, and she's come to me many times, and she's shared many messages for me to give to Ross. And I know that she will be there when he crosses over, when his time comes, when that day comes. And when your pets come to you, I want you to remember they've come to you for a reason. Okay? And in the case of Ross, that was to help him through a certain period in his life. And Maddie did that. And then Maddie went to a new owner and helped with that same situation. So basically, if you look at our pets as they're truly angels, and they come to us to help us with something, and then they do what they have to do, and then they cross over. So if you heard one of my episodes, I talked about Rocky and how Ross was Rocky's replacement. It's the same thing. So Rocky was getting ready to cross, but he didn't cross until he found his replacement, which was Ross for me. So there is a greater picture happening here in our universe and in the world when it comes to our connection with pets. So if you have to make a difficult decision, like we had to, know that you are doing the right thing if your pet is under tremendous stress and anxiety and doing things that you know is not your pet, and they're showing all these signs to you they're not happy. All right? I know that you can give them that life, what they want. Okay? And it's hard to do, right? In blending families alone, it can be very difficult. If you think about it, you're a couple coming together, and how will that work out? And then maybe you've got children that you're adding in the mix. Well, that can add to it. Then when you add pets, right? Pets know long before people do when something's not working, and they will show that. Okay. So I want to ask you that Maddie showed us that love isn't about ownership, right? It's about honoring each soul and what they truly need. Okay, so let me ask you a question. In your life right now, is there someone or something that wants to be released? Okay, they're asking you to be seen. They're asking you to be heard. And they're asking to be released with love right now in your life. I know it's a tough area to go to. All right, there's a lot of change happening in our world right now. And this goes for people and pets right now when I ask you this question. All right? Now, if your pet is showing tremendous stress, confusion, anxiety, okay, and the energy's not theirs, I invite you to reach out to me. I have got a healing membership where I clear negative energy from pets and help them along their healing journey, and I help the owners as well. So you can see I have a membership program. You can take it for 1 month or as long as you want. So that's on my website. And you can also see that I have consultations if you need help with this kind of situation. And I can tell you, where your pet's at exactly. And I also have on my website Insight Timer, which it is a program where I have created meditations for people and their pets. Okay, so you can see that those meditations are free, and all that information is on my website, asksuelondon.com. Now, I want to thank you. It's been a show where maybe you've never thought about something like this, or maybe you have experienced this, blending families and pets, and maybe you are going to have this happen. So I hope that something that I have said here today is going to help you along your journey. I'm so grateful that you've joined me today. I am so grateful to have you part of this community. And I just really want to say that I appreciate you. And I'm grateful for the love you're giving your pets. I want to wish you much love and many blessings. I'm Sue London, and I'll see you again real soon. Have a great day.